We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Batman issue 105. This is from the Rebirth line from DC Comics. Written by James Tynion IV. Art by Carlo, Pagulayan, and Danny Miki, Alvaro, Martinez, and Christian Duce. Colors by Dave Barron. Clayton Cowles was the letterer. Cover by Jorge, Jimmenez, and Tomeu, Morey. Dave Walgos was the associate editor. Ben Abernathy, editor. Cover's okay for a pinup, but it's got two characters I don't like. But Batman looks cool. So we start off with yet another long-winded flashback where Batman talks to Ghostmaker. It kind of rehashes what we already read last issue, with Ghostmaker trying to convince Bruce to not pursue his childish vision of crime fighting and simply go for the art of crime fighting. And he comes up with this idea of going after cities and targeting one specific city's underworld, then slowly building on that and using their money, etc. It was just a rehash of what we read last issue. Then we cut back to the modern era where Batman is trying to convince Clown Hunter not to kill Harley, and then Harley has a pop psychology lesson with him. Somebody read a copy of Psychology Today, and we get this really long-winded thing from Harley about her life and choices and all that, and Clown Hunter has to decide whether or not to kill Harley, but it's all a big test by Ghostmaker, who was looking to kill the kid, and then Batman and him have a confrontation moment, but they decide not to fight anymore and team up instead. This was a bad TV pitch. It was very hackneyed and everything was very convenient. The dialogue was a little bit forced and there was a lot of it. There was a lot of talking that could have been cut down, especially because this is clearly written for the trade paperback, but they still insisted on having like a multiple page scene with a lot of dialogue that kind of rehashed the same stuff we read a couple issues ago. And then last issue as well. And the whole thing with Harley using psychology and blathering on about her life to the kid, and it's so boring. They're really losing me. This was an incredibly weak, borderline lazy summation of the storyline. It was a really, really weak ending for the story, the way Batman and Ghostmaker were just like, hey, let's just call it quits. We're both getting too old for this. Let's team up instead. But you gotta follow my no killing rule. It was dumb. This whole thing was really, really boring. And the whole thing with Dick Grayson last issue just means nothing in this one. He's seen briefly with a couple other people from the Bat family just kind of hanging out on a rooftop. I don't know what Tynion's doing, but this is a really, really bad book. The art is okay through most of the issue. It's passable, but this was incredibly weak ending to the story. I get the impression he didn't really have a plan on how to end it, so he ended it like it was an episode of any hour-long TV series from the 1980s, and it was just incredibly boring. So I'm not going to recommend this. If you want to pick this issue up just to round out the storyline or something, get it out of a dollar bin. It's not worth more than that. This was not a good story. It was a really, really boring issue. And it leads into the Batman Annual number 5, where we're going to learn the origin of Clown Hunter, because nobody cares except Tynion. He really seems obsessed with Ghostmaker and Clown Hunter and making them supporting characters in the story, and it's not working. The characters aren't that interesting, they're very generic, and they're very, very boring. Ghostmaker is a knockoff discount Asian Batman, and Clown Hunter is just some annoying kid that murders clown people. It's not interesting. They're throwaway characters that should have been filtered out of the storylines by now instead of adding them to the ever-growing cast of characters. They already added Harley. They don't need more. So I'm not going to recommend this. This was trash. Get it cheap and maybe you'll be happy with that. I did not enjoy this at all. I thought it was very boring. I thought it was just a really weak book. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, share the video around on your social media, pick yourself something up nice from the Teespring store, or do a one-time donation via Streamlabs, which accepts PayPal, or a monthly reoccurring donation through Patreon. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.